The moon was broken. Its surface was covered in scars, deep craters, melted rocks, and glowing rivers of dust. This place had once been full of life, ancient and wise. But today, it was nothing more than a testing ground for weapons. The humans called it Deadlight Base. Above the ruins, massive warships floated. They looked like black mountains in space. Each one was armed with weapons strong enough to destroy entire cities with a single blast. Inside the command ship, General Vake stood. At the center of the war room, he wore a dark uniform with gold stripes on the shoulder. His face was calm, cold, and proud. "All systems ready?" he asked. "Ready, General," replied the technician. "Targets locked. Energy cells charged." "Good," Vake said. He turned to the soldiers around him. "Let's give the galaxy a reminder. Earth does not fear gods." A low hum filled the ship. Then came a loud pulse. From space, 3 massive energy beams shot down toward the moon's surface. They hit the ground with a thunder so loud, it echoed across space. The blast created a hole 10 kilometers wide. Rocks flew upward like waves. Mountains shattered. And when the dust cleared, nothing remained of the ancient ruins below only glass. The general smiled. "That was the Omega Lance," he said proudly. "Once used to kill the Titan of Gasper. Now it belongs to us." Another officer stepped forward. "Should we prepare the next test, sir?" "Yes," said Vake. "Fire." The chronopulse. This weapon was different. It didn't burn or break. It erased. Whatever it touched was never born, never existed. The second weapon fired. A blue wave spread across the surface. Entire craters vanished like they were never there. Time itself bent and curled. The past was rewritten. Even gods would beg if. They saw this, one soldier whispered. But then, something strange happened. One of the screens started flashing red dot. The technician leaned forward. "Sir, I'm picking up a signal." Vake frowned. "What kind of signal?" "Life. A single life form." Vake stared at the screen. The signal came from the center of the blast zone. "Impossible," he said. "Nothing could survive that. Not even a god." The technician looked pale. "It's moving, sir." Down below, on the moon's dead surface, something walked through the dust dot. It had no armor. No weapon. No fear. The dust moved away from its feet like it was avoiding the creature. It was tall. Not human. Its skin was gray like stone, but smooth like glass. Its eyes glowed with a soft, cold light. Not bright, just watching. A small probe flew toward it. The creature looked at the machine. The probe shook in the air, then crumbled into dust. No energy, no weapon. Just a look. Back on the command ship, the technician screamed. "All drones down. Visuals lost. Radiation is off the charts." The general narrowed his eyes. "What the hell is that?" One soldier replied, "We're calling it ... subject." They sent a scout team. 15 elite soldiers. Each one wore heavy armor, built to survive black holes and plasma storms. The team dropped from the ship in silence. They landed close to the creature. Captain Horace led them. His voice came through the ship's speakers. "We have visual. Target is still walking. It hasn't reacted to our presence. Capture it," General Vake ordered. The soldiers surrounded the creature. Still, it didn't stop walking. Captain Horace raised his arm. "Stun it." 10 rifles fired at once. Blue electric arcs struck the creature and did nothing. Not even a blink. Suddenly, the rifles started to shake in their hands, then exploded. One by one, the soldiers dropped, screaming. Some rolled on the ground. Some just stopped breathing. Only Captain Horace remained. His voice came again, but softer. I don't understand. It didn't move. It didn't fight. It just looked at us." Then silence. The command room went cold. "Retrieve the bodies," Vake said, but no one replied. There were no bodies to retrieve. 2 hours later, The creature stood at the entrance of Deadlight Base. No alarms went off. No defenses fired. Everything stayed. Silent. Inside, the soldiers panicked. "Sir, it's here." "How did it get inside?" "It walked. Just walked in." General Vake stood up. "Seal the command deck. Lock all gates. Deploy sentry units. Steal." Doors slammed shut across the base. Hundreds of robotic sentries lined the halls, each one ready to fire if needed. But the creature didn't attack. It just stood there in front of the sealed blast door. Then it raised its hand and touched the wall. The metal turned to sand. No heat. No force. Just gone. It walked forward. Every camera died. Every light flickered. And then it stood in the war room face to face with General Vake. The room was frozen. Soldiers aimed their weapons, but didn't fire. Vake stared at the creature. "What are you?" he asked. The creature tilted its head. No reply. Vake stepped closer. "You survived weapons that kill time. Fire that burns stars. We've killed gods, titans, monsters that lived for eons. But you didn't even flinch." Still, the creature said nothing. Vake pointed a gun straight at it. The weapon shook in his hand. "I should shoot you." The creature looked at the gun. The metal melted like wax. Vake dropped it, shaking. Finally the creature spoke. Its voice was deep, soft, and quiet like thunder from far away. "You test weapons to kill what you fear," it said. "But you never asked what comes after fear." Vake swallowed hard. "And what comes after fear?" The creature replied, "The thing that watches when fear is gone." With that, the lights shut off. When they returned, the creature was gone. Panic spread through the command. "This doesn't make sense," the technician shouted. "We've tested every god killer we had." "It didn't even defend itself," a soldier cried. "It walked through everything." General Vake sat down slowly. His hands were shaking. "What have we woken up?" he whispered. Hours passed. Then a new report came in. One of Earth's satellites over 1,000 light-years away had just picked up a signal. It showed the same figure. Same height. Same glowing eyes. "How?" a scientist asked. "How did it get there already?" "No one knows," the tech whispered. "But it's watching again." General Vake gave one final order. "Do not fire. Do not move. Do not speak." Because he finally understood. They had created weapons to kill gods, but something had survived, something older than gods, and it wasn't angry. It was simply watching. The alien was gone. It had disappeared from Deadlight Base without leaving a single trace. No one saw it walk out. No alarms were triggered. No cameras worked. It had just vanished. But no one in the base could forget it. The silence it brought. The way it looked at weapons and they melted. The way soldiers forgot how to move when it stood near them. And the way it spoke. Just one sentence and left the room colder than deep space. Now, every hallway was quiet. Every screen kept flickering. The technicians refused to speak above a whisper. Something had changed, deep, inside Earth's central science facility. Far from the battlefield, General Vake stood inside a steel room with reinforced walls. In front of him sat three of Earth's most trusted scientists. Dr. Lin, a bio-expert. Dr. Roshan, a mind-specialist. And Dr. Kale, a machine brain engineer. "Find out what it is," Vake said firmly. "If it breathes, if it eats, if it thinks, I want answers." They all looked at each other. "You captured it?" Dr. Lin asked carefully. Vake nodded. "It let us." It stood in the center of the room, didn't resist. Dr. Roshan's eyes narrowed. "It let you?" "Exactly," Vake said, like it was waiting. The alien was kept inside Chamber Zero, a special room built to hold cosmic beasts. Thick walls of null metal. No light. No gravity. No energy to control. And yet, the creature sat there, calmly, cross-legged like a monk. Watching. Breathing. Or maybe not. There was no heartbeat. No sound of lungs. No muscle twitches. Dr. Lin stared at the monitor. This can't be right. There's no pulse. No blood. Number. Heat. She tried scanning it again. The machine gave a strange reading. No life detected. That's impossible, Kale whispered. It's sitting right there. Dr. Roshan tried something different. He brought in a machine called the Mind Mirror, a tool used to read thoughts, dreams, and memories. No being had ever resisted it. He switched it on and focused on the alien's head for 1 second. It worked. Roshan gasped. He fell backward, eyes wide open, hands shaking. He dropped the device. Everyone rushed to him. Doctor? What did you see? Roshan's lips trembled. His voice cracked. I saw everything. What do you mean everything? He whispered. I saw stars being born and dying. I saw time freeze. I saw myself as dust. He looked around the room, scared. It saw me looking. It showed me. Then he passed out. General Vake arrived within the hour. He looked at the screen. The alien still sat in silence. Are you ready to talk now? Vake asked. No reply. Tell me what you are, he said again. What do you want? The creature blinked, slowly, calmly. Then it opened its mouth. A soft, deep voice came. I do not want. I remember. Vake leaned forward. Remember what? Before death, before sound, before time, I was there. Vake's hands curled into fists. You expect us to believe you're that old? The alien said nothing. It didn't argue. It didn't prove. It just sat there like a mountain, unmoving, untouched. And then, the walls began to change. The walls of Chamber Zero, made to hold monsters, started to ripple. Alarms screamed. Emergency lights flashed. Technicians ran through. The hallways. Sir, the chamber's walls are softening. Softening? Vake asked, shocked. They're turning into sand. Security bots rushed in. They raised their arms and fired stun blasts. The energy disappeared before touching the alien's skin. It didn't flinch. It didn't move. The bots shut down instantly, like their purpose had been erased. General Vake watched in silence. Then turned away. Prepare the ultimate failsafe, he said. The Oblivion Protocol. Inside the command chamber, Vake stood with Dr. Kale beside a huge red control panel. The scientist hesitated. Are you sure? This has only been used once, Vake nodded. Project Oblivion was designed to erase concepts. It doesn't kill. It makes things forgotten, removed from the mind, from memory, from reality itself. He turned to the screen. Fire it, now. From a distant satellite, a strange wave of purple energy began to rise. It wasn't heat or radiation. It was something worse. ERSUR. The wave approached Earth's moon slowly. And then, it hit the alien, or at least it should have, but the wave vanished, not blocked. Gone. As if Oblivion itself had blinked and forgotten where it was going. Screen went black. Everyone stared. Dr. Kale whispered, That's not possible. Oblivion doesn't fail. No, Vake said coldly. It doesn't. They all looked at the screen again and saw the alien still sitting there, but now it was smiling. Moments later, a sound came across every speaker, not from the alien's mouth, but from everything. It was speaking through light, vibration, gravity, and electricity. I did not come to destroy, the voice said. I came to see if you had changed. Everyone in the base froze. Changed from what? Dr. Roshan woke up in the medical bay. He sat up, eyes wide. Where is it? He asked. In the chamber, the nurse said. Roshan shook his head. It won't stay long. It was only waiting for me to understand. Understand what? She asked. He whispered. That it's not here for war. It's here to remind us of what we lost. The chamber door was now open. The alien stood outside it. Unharmed. It looked down the hall where Vake stood. Vake raised a new kind of gun, a particle bender that broke atoms. Apart. He fired. The beam bent around the alien. As if space didn't allow it to hit, the alien stepped forward. Vake aimed again. Fired again. Nothing. Finally, the alien reached him. Vake stared into its eyes. He dropped his weapon. "Do you even know what fear is?" he asked. The alien looked at him and said, "I remember the first fear. It was yours." Outside the base, the sky began to flicker. Stars dimmed. Satellites shut down. Space itself seemed to grow quiet. As if the universe had paused. The alien turned back, looked at the sky, and whispered, "They're coming." Vake frowned. "Who's coming?" The alien didn't answer. Instead, it walked into the night. Later, Earth Command reviewed the footage. What they saw disturbed them deeply. No one had noticed at the time, but every second the alien had been present. The laws of physics bent slightly. Time was slower near it. Light curved. Metal aged faster. It wasn't just powerful. It was something else entirely. Not a weapon, not a being, something wrong, or maybe something too right for this universe. Final report from General Vake. "We built weapons to kill gods. We erased memories, burned galaxies, and broke rules of reality. But this thing, it doesn't play by those rules. It doesn't fear us. It doesn't hate us. It simply watches. And that is worse." The meeting room was filled with silence, not just quiet, a cold, heavy silence. Like the air itself was afraid to move. General Halric Marin stood in front of the giant holographic display. His white hair and deep scars made him look more machine than man. But he wasn't just any soldier. He was known as the Iron General, a living war legend. He had crushed enemy planets, ended 2 rebellions, and led the siege on Titanus Prime, where Earth's forces had wiped out an entire god species with a single strike. And now he was staring at a single image, a still frame of the alien's face, the glowing eyes, the expressionless stare. Frozen. Watching. "It doesn't make sense," Marin said. "You're telling me this thing survived oblivion?" "Yes, sir," the officer beside him replied. "It erased the weapon instead." Marin slowly turned his head. "Explain." The officer swallowed hard. "The oblivion wave never reached the target. It vanished, not deflected, not blocked, just ceased to exist." The general clenched his fists. "And the creature?" "It left the base, walked away." Marin stepped closer to the screen. "So Earth's most powerful technology was used, and it failed?" "Yes, General." "And now," Marin said, eyes narrowing, "I have to fix the mistake others made." Across the galaxy, at Blackhold Station, preparations began. This was no normal base. It floated in a dark star system with no suns, no light, no visitors. It was secret. Hidden. It held the last weapon Earth never dared to use. The Thoughtbreaker. Inside the deepest chamber of Blackhold, General Marin walked toward the activation chamber. A tall woman in a lab coat stood by the glowing panel. She was Dr. Ilara Vent. She had once worked on mental weapons used to kill gods by crashing their thoughts into themselves. "This one is different," Ilara warned. "It doesn't just kill ideas. It crushes identity, past, present, future." Marin looked at her with steel eyes. "I'm not interested in warnings. I want it ready." "You're not afraid?" "No," he said. "Because I'm not weak." The alien arrived before anyone expected. It didn't use a ship. It didn't land. It just appeared outside Blackhold, floating in the vacuum of space. No suit. No ship. It floated like it belonged there. The sensors screamed. Unidentified mass detected, non-organic, but alive. Alive but not living, another officer muttered. They launched energy shields. They fired signal jammers. The alien continued floating until it gently stepped onto the platform like walking on air. Inside the control chamber, General Marin watched the footage. His jaw was tight. His voice cold. "Let it in." "Sir?" I said. "Let it in." He turned to Dr. Alara. "Activate the thought breaker when I give the order." She stared at him. "You'll be inside the room." "I'm aware." The chamber was steel clean. Empty. In the center stood a metal chair and 2 tables. The alien entered slowly. Marin stood in full combat. Armor pure dark gray. Symbols of old wars etched into his chestplate. The alien sat down across from him. No chains. No guards. Just silence. Marin studied it. "You look small for something so dangerous." The alien didn't speak. "Do you know who I am?" The alien tilted its head. "I know who you were." Marin narrowed his eyes. "What's that supposed to mean?" "You were a soldier. Now you are just a memory held together by steel." Marin smirked. "You've seen weapons that end timelines. You've stood in oblivion, but this," he raised his hand, "this is the thought breaker. It doesn't kill you. It removes the meaning of you." He waited for fear, but the alien didn't move. "You can fire it," it said, "but you'll feel it too." Marin laughed. I felt worse. He gave the order. The machine came alive. Waves of invisible force began to pass through the room. Marin felt nothing at first, but then something strange. He forgot his mother's face, then his rank, then the name of the planet. He was on his own name began to slip. He looked at the Kong alien, but the alien wasn't trembling. It was glowing brighter. "You wanted to erase me," it said. "But your minds are not built to hold nothing." Marin fell to one knee. "Stop the device." He gasped. The room bent sideways. The air rippled. Dr. Alara screamed over the comms. "It's feeding on the weapon. It's not breaking, it's absorbing." Suddenly, the machine exploded into ash. Marin fell backward, gasping. The alien stepped forward. "You tried fire. You tried time. You tried forgetting." Marin looked up at it. "What are you?" The alien crouched down beside him. "I was there before names were born. I was the silence between the stars." Marin's hands trembled. "I don't believe in gods." "I'm not a god," the alien said. "I am what remains after God's fall." The lights in Black Hole went out. Every screen went black. Across the galaxy, machines began reporting a single message: "It remembers." Later, when Marin woke in the medical bay, he had no memory of the event. No one told him, because no one else remembered it either, only Dr. Ilara, and she had gone silent, locked in her lab. Staring at a blank screen. Over and over, she whispered, "It didn't attack, it just waited." Final command log from Black Hole Station. He fired Earth's last weapon. It did not fail. It simply became part of the creature. It wasn't immune. It was familiar with it, like it had seen it all before. We called it Subject X, but I think it has no name, or maybe we forgot it. It had been 11 days since the alien disappeared from Black Hole Station. No one had seen it since, but everyone felt it. Across the galaxy, strange things began happening. Lights flickered on peaceful colonies. Ships lost power, but only for a moment. And dreams became nightmares. People started seeing things that didn't exist, and worse things they once knew. Vanished. A commander forgot his wife's name. A historian stared at blank pages. One pilot said, "I don't remember where I was born, or if I ever was." Something was wrong with memory itself, and deep in the core of Earth Command, a meeting was called. 7 people sat around a black table in the War Council room. They were the most powerful minds of humanity. Scientists, strategists, weapons architects, and one figure sat at the end. Dr. Celine Viraz, the only survivor of the original Oblivion project. She looked older than her age. Her hands trembled as she spoke. "You all know why we're here," she said. "The alien survived every weapon we threw at it, even our memory killers, so now we build something worse." General Vake leaned forward. Worse than oblivion? Yes, Selene said. We build a concept eraser. Something that doesn't just remove it from space or time, but from logic itself. Dr. Roshan frowned. You mean, make it so the alien was never possible to exist? Exactly, she said. Not dead, not gone, just ... Unthinkable. They called it Project Oblivion 0. It would take all of Earth's stolen knowledge, forbidden weapons, and ancient data from collapsed alien races. The lab was placed inside a gravity bubble, far from all stars. Time ran differently there. 20 seconds outside was 2 weeks inside. They would build the weapon in secret, but they were wrong about one thing. They thought the alien couldn't find them inside the bubble. Selene led the scientists. They used dark code from the Bleed Worlds, language once spoken by creatures made of pure thought. They crafted a machine shaped like a sphere filled with reversed time, frozen energy, and void silk, a material that had only been theorized. The sphere pulsed softly. Every time someone looked at it too long, they forgot what they were thinking. They began to whisper, maybe this thing doesn't just erase others. Maybe it's erasing us too. One day, a boy appeared. Not a soldier, not a worker. Just a boy, barefoot, pale, maybe 10 years old. He stood in the hallway, staring at the door to the Oblivion 0 chamber. The guards raised their rifles. Who are you? They barked. The boy blinked slowly, then said, I had a name once. I gave it away. They froze. His voice a child's. It was ancient. One guard ran to trigger the alarm. The alarm refused to activate. The lights turned red. The sphere began to spin. Selene ran into the chamber. She stopped. The boy was standing in front of the sphere. His eyes glowed white. No, she whispered. You're not a boy. He looked at her. And smiled. I needed a form small enough for you to let me in. Selene's hand shook. Why are you here? To watch, he said. To see if you truly understand what you're trying to destroy. We're ending you, she said. You're ending your last chance, he replied. Selene gave the command. All power to the sphere. Begin activation. The lights turned white. Energy hummed like thunder in a bottle. The room bent inward. Reality tore. Slightly. The alien boy remained still. Then with one step he walked into the sphere. They screamed. He's inside. He's not supposed to be able to get near it. No living thing can survive inside. But the sphere began to glow brighter. No alarms. No breakdown. Just calm. The boy's voice echoed inside their heads. You thought you were building a trap, but you were finishing my home. And then the sphere vanished. Not exploded, not destroyed. Just gone. Along with the alien. Along with all the blueprints. Along with all memory of the project. Except Selene. Only she remembered. Why? No one knew. Maybe the alien let her. Maybe she was supposed to warn the others. She tried to tell the council. They didn't believe her. There is no Oblivion 0. Selene, they said. No project ever existed. No lab, no team. But Selene stared at her own shaking hands. I remember, she whispered. And I think that's the point. Meanwhile, across the stars, ships continued to fail. Weapons refused to fire. Commanders forgot their battle plans mid-sentence. One admiral shouted, Where are we? What is this place? His ship was floating in perfect orbit right outside Earth. And yet, no one remembered launching it. The alien had not attacked, had not fired a single shot. But everything humanity built, every defense, every record, every system, began to unravel. Back at Earth Command, General Vake stood alone in a war room. Every officer had left. Every map showed static. He looked at the stars. None were named anymore. He whispered, We built weapons to kill gods. And now we don't even remember the names of the gods. Then, a figure appeared behind him. Vake didn't turn. He knew who it was. You didn't destroy anything, Vake said. You didn't burn our cities. You didn't drop bombs." "No." The alien replied, "I just reminded you what you forgot." Vake asked, "What was that?" The alien stepped closer. "That fear doesn't begin with violence. It begins with silence." Final report, encrypted and hidden beneath Earth's deepest vaults. Project Oblivion Zero was real. But it wasn't a weapon. It was a mirror. And what we saw inside was the thing we tried to forget. The part of ourselves that still remembers the stars we destroyed. The promises we broke. The peace we never kept. It started with a dream, not just one person, but thousands. All across Earth and its colonies, soldiers, scientists, children, prisoners, they all reported the same strange dream. They stood on a mountain that floated in space. Below them was a field of stars, burning, collapsing, spinning. Above them was a face, not angry, not kind, just watching. And then a voice whispered, "This memory was not yours. But now it is." General Vake woke in his quarters, sweat dripping down his neck. He had seen the mountain. He had heard the voice. And the worst part, he felt peace in the dream, but waking up felt like falling. He walked to the window and looked up at the sky. The stars looked fewer than before. Were they blinking out? Or was he just forgetting their names? At the Neural Research Center on Mars, Dr. Arvin Lang sat beside a girl only 9 years old. She had drawn a picture with shaky hands. It showed a mountain in space, a face in the sky, and strange lines below, symbols not from any known language. Dr. Arvin looked at her gently. "Where did you see this?" The girl said softly, "He showed me." "Who?" She pointed to the sky. "The quiet one." Back on Earth, Selene Vera sat alone in a dark room. The world said Project Oblivion Zero never happened, but she remembered. And now, strangers were remembering, too. People whispered stories they'd never heard before, described battles that didn't exist, named stars no one had ever mapped. And everywhere, the alien appeared in their memories. Still watching. In deep orbit, a mining ship called the Aster Echo found something strange. A floating structure, cold, massive, ancient. It wasn't on any chart. The workers called it the Vault. No entrance. No power source. Just a symbol carved on the side. The same shape from every dream. They sent drones in. The drones blinked out of existence. No explosion. No data. Just gone. And then one worker said, "We shouldn't be here." "How do you know that?" the captain asked. The worker looked terrified. "I don't know. I just remembered." At Earth Command, panic began. Reports flooded in. People speaking in dead languages. Officers drawing maps of lost galaxies. Civilians dreaming of alien wars. And winning them. Dr. Roshan stood in front of the council, exhausted. "I don't think the alien is changing reality," he said. "I think it's giving us its memory." General Marin slammed his hand on the table. "Why? What does it want us to see?" Roshan shook his head. "I don't know. But we were never supposed to see these things. They don't belong to us." In a small desert town, an old man sat outside his home. He hadn't dreamed in 30 years. But now, every night, he dreamed of stars burning and of a war. A war where the universe didn't just lose it, surrendered. The sky cracked like glass. The suns went silent. And at the end stood the alien. UNOVING. Alone. Holding something in its hand. A sphere made of memory. In silence. Back on Mars, the girl was asked again, "Who is the quiet one?" She looked at the stars. Then said, "He's not a person. He's the last story." On Earth, Vake gave the order. "Activate Operation Black Silence. If it shows itself again, we strike every planet, every system." But the alien didn't attack, didn't appear, didn't speak. Instead, people began to remember their own forgotten sins. Wars Earth never admitted. Weapons never deactivated. Worlds abandoned to rot. And one by one, the leaders began to crack. General Marin looked at his medals and couldn't remember what they were for Dr. Kale. Forgot how to speak for 4 hours. Selene stood in front of a mirror and saw someone else's face. The alien's memory wasn't just being shared. It was growing. Living. Infecting. And then came the voice. Not in a dream. Not in a message, but in every mind at once. At the same moment. Every child, every commander, every AI. You build walls to forget. You build weapons to erase. But what lives in silence always returns. Then silence. Again. General Vake locked himself in the war room. He shouted at the walls, "What do you want? Why US?" And in his mind, the alien replied, "Because you were the loudest." Vake fell to his knees, because suddenly he remembered. He remembered the first time they saw it, hundreds of years ago. A probe had found a sphere in space. No markings. No heat. It was brought back to Earth. And placed in Vault 17. And then forgotten. Because everyone who studied it vanished. Vault 17 was sealed. Files erased. Now he remembered. The alien didn't come to them. They brought it home. Selene met with Roshan and Kale. "There's more," she said. "This isn't about one alien," Roshan nodded. "It's a test." Kale whispered, "No, it's a memory." Roshan turned pale. "It's not here to destroy us. It's here to remind us what destroyed everything else." The alien appeared again, this time not in the mind, but in the sky above Earth. No ship. No flame. Just there, like a star that had always been part of the sky. And then everyone stopped, even animals, even machines. Everything. Paused and looked up. And remembered. Final message broadcast by unknown origin. "I was the last story told before silence. I watched 1,000 galaxies fall. I am not death. I am the memory that death forgot, and now you remember me." The order was clear. Erase all records, all files, all memory. If Earth couldn't destroy the alien, it would delete the idea of it. All across the systems, humans worked to wipe every trace. Digital files were burned, physical documents shredded. Dream monitor programs installed in every capital. Even the people who dreamed of the alien were quietly locked away. They called it the Final Silence Initiative. But deep below Earth's crust, in a vault older than any modern city, something began to move. A black stone. Cold. Unmarked. Sleeping. And now waking. General Vake led the new operation himself. He no longer trusted AI. He no longer trusted memory. He didn't even trust his own name. Everything felt like a trick. Shadow. A lie whispered by something far older than time. So he brought in a new team. No implants, no tech. Just raw minds, trained for one job: to forget on command. He called them the Blanks. Men and women who could delete memories with a single chemical drop. In orbit station, Echo 7, Dr. Selene Verez stood before the Council of Flame Earth's final decision makers. Her voice was low. "I told you before, the alien isn't invading. It's reminding us. Reminding us of what?" One commander asked. She looked them in the eyes. "Of what we buried. 20 years ago, Earth found something in deep space. A satellite drifting beyond the last known system. No power. No signal. Inside it they discovered images, planets folded in half, black suns, cities made of glass and silence. And in every image, that same figure. Watching. They had erased the satellite, but the memories were still there. In secret. In minds. Waiting. Now the galaxy began to change. It started small. A moon vanished from orbit. A station's name changed on every record overnight. A city's population dropped from 2 million to 0, and no one noticed. People forgot friends, forgot roads, forgot why they were afraid. But the fear stayed. Dr. Roshan, now hiding in a bunker, sent out one last message. "This thing doesn't need To attack, it doesn't burn or cut, it remembers for us. And every time it remembers, we lose a little more of ourselves. Meanwhile, in a forgotten sector, a team of explorers found something ancient. A library. Not human, buried inside. A dead world. Every wall was made of light, every book was of memory. Alive. And in the center stood a statue, the alien, but not standing. Kneeling. With stars falling behind it. The explorers didn't know why they were crying. They didn't know who it was, but something inside them whispered, "You were warned." Then the memory vanished. Earth Command had one final idea. They built a device called the Mind Anchor. It was a machine meant to lock thoughts in place. Once activated, nothing could change what was known. No forgetting. No rewriting. No more bending reality. They placed it at the center of Earth's core. One switch. One choice. General Vake stood over the control panel. Selene was beside him. She stared at the glowing switch. "If we activate it," she said, "we might trap the alien's memory forever." Vake nodded. "Exactly. But if we're wrong," she added, "we might trap ourselves inside a memory that never belonged to us." He hesitated. Then reached for the switch. The sky turned black. Stars vanished. People on Earth stopped mid-step. Time slowed, and a voice came, not in sound, but inside every thought. "You erased my name, you erased my face, but I remember you." The Mind Anchor activated. A blast of blue light spread across the planet. For the first time in weeks, things felt still. The stars stayed. The roads remained. People began to breathe again. Selene whispered, "Did it work?" Vake looked at the screen. "It's over." But deep beneath the planet, in that ancient black stone, a crack formed, and something inside smiled. 1 week passed. Then another. No strange dreams. No lost files. No more memory breaks. Humanity began to believe it had won. But one boy, just 7 years old, drew something in class. Figure. Floating. Watching. Holding a glass sphere of stars. The teacher asked, "What is that?" The boy smiled and said, "It remembered me." The alien was not gone. It was not hiding. It was becoming part of the universe again, not invading space, but filling minds, becoming thought. General Vake stood in the same room where he'd activated the Mind Anchor. His reflection in the window looked strange. Was his hair always this color? Was this his uniform? Were those his hands? He blinked. And in that moment, he saw something behind the glass. The alien standing in the sky, not angry, not smiling. Just present. Watching. Selene stood on the mountains of Mars. She looked at the stars and remembered a name she had never heard before, the First Witness. That's what it called itself. She whispered the words. They felt warm. Ancient. Real. In the minds of millions. That title appeared. The First Witness. The one who saw the birth of fear, the death of time, the silence after the last scream. Final. Report from Earth Memory Vault. We tried to erase it, but it remembered too well. It remembered who we were. It remembered what we became. And now. We remember too. The galaxy had always been vast. Endless stars, infinite worlds, and billions of lives. But it had not always been quiet. Before humans, before any known race, there was a time of fire and silence. A war so old, even the stars tried to forget. Alien, called the First Witness, stood before a council on Earth. Its voice echoed inside every mind, but it spoke only to those who listened. "I saw the beginning of fear," it said softly. "Not your fear. A fear older than your sun. On a distant world, billions of years ago, there lived a race unlike any other. They were born from light itself, gods of energy and thought. But they grew proud. They created weapons to control time. To erase stars. To kill gods. They thought they were gods, but with power came blindness. They fought each other. They burned entire systems. Their war shattered Reality. Galaxies folded, time unraveled, and in the center of the chaos, a silence fell. The first witness watched it all. It was not a warrior, not a god, not a creature of flesh or machine. It was the memory of what happened, the keeper of what was lost. The alien raised a hand. Stars flickered in the sky. Above Earth. It was the end of everything, but also the beginning. General Vake clenched his fists. If you saw it all, why come here? Why show us? The alien's eyes glowed. To remind you. To prepare you. The end you fear is not what you think. In the war rooms, scientists ran simulations. The galaxy was on the edge. A dark force approached. Not one race could stop it, not even Earth. The first witness spoke again. They come to erase memory. To silence all life. You built weapons to kill gods, but these will not work. Only understanding can save you. Selene stared at the ancient symbols glowing on the walls. The memories you carry, she said, are keys to unlock what the others lost. The alien nodded. Remember this. Your wars, your fears, your mistakes, they are threads. Pull them and you will see the truth. Suddenly, the room shook. An alarm screamed. The dark force had arrived. Ships blinked into the system. Not fire or warships. Only silence. General Marin stood on the bridge of Earth's flagship. Hold the line, he ordered. But there was nothing to hold. The ships did not attack. They did not communicate. They simply existed. The first witness turned to the council. Your weapons are useless. Your fears, your memories are your only hope. On Earth, people began to see visions. Visions of old wars. Visions of lost friends. Visions of what was forgotten. They started to come together. Not with guns. But with stories. With memories. General Vake looked at the alien. Are you saying stories can stop a war? The alien smiled faintly. More than that. They can create a future. The dark ships moved closer. The sky dimmed. But humans did not fight. They remembered. They shared. They told the stories of their ancestors. Of wars won. Of peace made. Of promises kept. The ships paused. Then, slowly, they faded. The dark force retreated. The stars brightened. The first witness looked at Earth. One last time. You have passed the test, for now. Then it vanished, leaving behind only a whisper, a memory, a warning. General Vake turned to Selene. We survived because we remembered, not because we fought. She nodded. But the war is not over. It is only beginning. Final log entry from Earth. Command. The first witness showed us the past to save our future. We fought gods with weapons. Now we fight silence with memory. And in that fight, humanity finds its true strength. The stars were quiet. Too quiet. No ships. No signals. Only silence. Earth waited. General Vake stood on the highest tower of the new Earth capital. He looked at the sky. The alien first witness had vanished. No one knew where it went. But its message remained. Memory was power. Selene Vera's joined him. We have learned much, she said softly. But there is one last truth we must face. Vake looked at her. What truth? Selene smiled faintly. The last memory. Inside the Earth archives, deep underground, the final record was found. Not a file, not a weapon, but a simple box made of dark stone. No markings. When opened, a wave of energy passed through the room. Visions appeared. Of worlds long gone. Of lives forgotten. Of promises broken and kept. Selene touched the box, and suddenly, she was somewhere else. A place beyond time. A place of silence and light. There she saw the alien, not as enemy, but as a guardian, holding a sphere of stars. You are the last memory, it said. The last hope. The last story to be told. Back on Earth, the world changed. People no longer feared the silence. They embraced the memories. They shared stories. They built new lives. But the question remained, what was the alien really? A god? A ghost? or something else? General Vake spoke to the council. We fought weapons. We fought silence. Now we must fight to remember. Selene looked at the stars again. A new light appeared. A star born from memory. The alien's final message echoed through every mind. I am not here to destroy. I am here to remind, to keep the last memory alive. Because without memory, there is no future. As the last light faded, humanity stepped forward. Stronger, wiser, remembering.